All right, with no further ado, I'd like to welcome you to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky Miller, your co-host, along with the Bishop, the Rattler, the Detective, our trusted sidekick here on HBCU Coaches Corner, none other than Mr. Stephen Campbell. And the man you all come to see, to come talk his talk, tell y'all about what being an HBCU coach, being an HBCU championship coach is all about. None other than my man, Johnnie Cole.
Hey, hold on for a minute. He just went out the door. Hold on.
What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man? Shit, boy, another day, another dollar and another way, an opportunity, man, to, express ourselves and into this HBCU space and especially in the athletic part. And it's always a pleasure working with you two, because you guys get after it, man. I mean, you really guys have things, the information right there, and make sure that our fans are getting quality information, not hearsay, not what I think, but some experiences that I've shared as well. And Campbell from the HBCU way back. Me and him go way back. I think, Campbell, what is it? Maybe 100 years of HBCU football between you and me?
Hey, man, listen. We know the names, Coach. We know when the SWAC was been in the SEC. See, we know that.
Yeah. So we can go way back, and Campbell can speak from a fan base, a band base, a person who has donated money to a program. He knows all that situation. He's walked the campus of greatness. And then I can go even a little deeper on the sports side, as well as like him being an HBCU graduate, man. And then Rocky being the outside of it, man. Really, Rocky, you so more important than me and Campbell, because we got the answers, and you really got the questions that you hear from the outside. So man, I don't want again, Rock. I'm a champion of this podcast, HBCU Realm, man, and I think people that comes on our show knows that we know what we're talking about.
Hey, Coach, yesterday you had a big announcement. You've been summoned back into coaching. This time you don't get a chance to recruit coach. You That's coach right. Whoever shows up. And you had a tryout last night. Cut downs was last night, and you didn't cut anybody, Coach.
Hey, man, this remind me of TSU all over, Coach. I ain't even have enough to cut, Campbell. Look, I needed 15, 12 showed up, man. So I had to go recruit the school, the hallways today, and picked up 3 more. So man, look, we started from the bottom, baby. I'm gonna have to get my what my man who sing that? What's his name? The Canadian boy. We started from the bottom. Now we up. Drake. I'm about to Drake it this year, man. We started from the bottom. Now we here, baby.
Coach, one thing I do know, Coach, if you end up having a losing season, it ain't because of coaching. It's definitely because of the players, man.
Hey, man, look, you right about that, Coach. This time around, man. But no, we gonna get it together, Coach. We gonna get it together. I told the young men that we gonna get this thing together, and we gonna have 2 plays, baby. 2 plays, man. Run right and run left. That's our run game. And throw the arrow route, the hitch corner every time, Coach. We're gonna throw it on this side and throw it on that side.
Coach, boy, hey, that play sheet gonna be packed. Look like, hey, Campbell, all of this, what we're doing tonight, man, is it was a brainchild of yours, and the first person that you brought up, the first school you brought up was Southern, and I think it had to do with the person that you were thinking about when you were thinking about collaborating and bringing these content creators on to kind of share what's going on with their programs. They know about it far better, but about their individual programs far better than we do. A lot of the information we pick up is secondhand, third hand, and even made up sometimes, Coach. But you getting a guy, you decided that you wanted to get a guy who's ear is not to the ground, but he is right there in the mix of everything that's going on in Southern. There's another gentleman that's going to be on here as well. He told me he was going to run late. But with no further ado, I'll sit back, Cam, and let you do your next introduction of our first featured guest.
Well, you know, man, let me tell you something. I got to say this. The coach can understand this. I'm going to say the reason why I wanted to do Southern University first, because of proud tradition. Second behind Grambling, well, tied with Jack State of all-time SWAC championship. But, man, I feel a little bit of Southern disrespect that's been happening since the prime era, Rocky. And, you know, the Southern folks don't move like that. So, you know, as an outsider that understands the big brand that Southern is, you know, I said, man, listen, we got all these people that talk about Southern. Let's get people that know Southern. You know what I mean? That's the thing about it. So, you know, man, this is one young man. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of his. Is one of my nephews. I think he's one of the most brilliant people in this space because he can bring humor, but he brings knowledge. And you know what? One thing I like about this young man too, Coach, he understands the history. He understands that the SWAC didn't just start when Prime showed up. See, this young man was here before then. So, you know, I'm proud to introduce Mr. Perry White of the Jaguar Journal and On the Yard Sports. My guy.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on? What's going on, cuz?
The crowd is going wild, Perry. The crowd's going wild.
What's going on? What's going on, cuz?
Not much. What's going on?
Hey, look, man. Look, you know, I roam the hill very well. You know, out there at Southern University when I was out there working. You know, under Coach Richardson. And, you know, look, one day I was sitting in my office. We used to be in the F.G. Clark Center. You know, that's where our offices was. This is a little bit before your time. And I was wondering, man, it was a line wrapped around the Clark Center, you know, for people didn't know that's where they played basketball at. They had this arena, they played basketball. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on, man? You know, they said it was season ticket time. And boy, I couldn't believe that the Jaguars did it that way. But you know, it was our first year. Pete was coming in the first year. I was on the first year staff, and people was really, really excited about Coach Richardson. Is that still happening now? Is the season ticket still up where they were? What it's been now? 20 years ago since Pete showed up? No, since 1993.
That's 30, you know, Coach.
30 years, 32 to be exact.
Don't show your age tonight.
Oh man, look.
Hold on, wait. We purposely show our age on this show.
Okay.
We do that
it's all in your beard, Coach. It's all in your
beard. Yeah. So bring us up on the Jaguars, man. Are they selling tickets? Are they excited? You know, tell me what. You know, y'all twinkle to the East Championship. But, you know, that's football. That came from some great coaching decisions. You know, what's going on over there?
I mean, in terms of fan base, I think everybody around the SWAC understands when you say Southern, you understand the Jaguar Nation, right? You look forward to when Southern come to town, or you look forward to coming in town and going to a Southern game. And Southern, in terms of attendance, has been right there in the top 5, top 10 of FCS every year. When you look at programs around the country. So, you know, I don't think we're struggling in that area. We had a period for a second with Eric Dooley here where it seemed like we was losing the morale, right? The fan base felt like, hey, you know, this just doesn't seem to be the right fit, even though all the energy came in with the hire. But the fan base seemed to have started to lose interest for a while. So I think what Coach Terrence Gray's doing in year 1 last year and coming into year 2 is trying to get that fan base back up with the energy again, to bring everybody back. Because if you ask me, it seems like we kind of lost the morale a little bit. And I've seen it even on the road. We don't seem to travel like we once used to. And I use that as just looking at the past few times we've gone to Jackson State. The past few times we've gone was not the quite Jaguar Nation presence that I've seen, as I say, quote unquote, pre-COVID. But most of all, I think the fans are just looking for somebody to take us to the next level. What's the next level? Winning a SWAC championship and getting to the Celebration Bowl. And I think for Southern fans, it's kind of getting that I'm tired of waiting. And and that can happen, for a fan base who loves to win games. And I think one thing is my man, Dr. Everett Gibson, said years ago, Southern likes to brag. We like to brag about how good we are. And if we're not in a position to brag about how good we are, the fan base puts the pressure on not only an athletic director, but a coach. But I think nonetheless, the fan base is still there. They're just looking for that fire to ignite. And no better way to ignite that fire than to go to Atlanta next week and get a victory over North Carolina Central.
Yeah, you guys, how was it up underneath? My guy went to Norfolk. Y'all get his
Odoms.
name from Odoms. How? Because I know coaching with Coach Richardson, how fired up we were. I remember the first year, and then all of a sudden, homecoming and the campers before the games, it just exploded. Because of course, we started off undefeated in the first 2 years. It just exploded on campus, and this is a little bit before your time. But Pete stayed there for 17 years. 17 seasons, and he only had one losing season. I do, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. He ensured the fan base that every year we competing for the title. Sort of when he left, it sort of kind of tailed off a little bit, as you saying that you feeling we there, but we ain't there like we there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And let me tell you something. I thank you for the compliments of saying before my time, saying how young. But I grew up in the 90s. The 90s was my era, so it was during my time. But yeah, it's that same thing. When you have that transition of a fan base, it's like any big fan base who willing to travel with their team, who engage with their program, and who put their money where their mouth is. They want to know what is happening in the future for their program. And what happens in the future is simply about winning, right? And when we say winning, it ain't winning 8, 9 games and saying we're happy. It's about winning championships. You talking about in the 90s, what made Southern what it was in the 90s? It wasn't only winning those games on NBC against Eddie Robertson and Grambling, but it was going to the Heritage Bowl. It was having that big time atmosphere for a bowl game that created winning championships. And then when you had the first SWAC championship in 99 with Southern and Jackson State, Southern had came into that game having not lost a game in conference play in 3 years. So you imagine a fan base who has that type of, and I'm not going to say arrogance, but pride, and you know it, you were here. And then it came on the backside of Pete. It was like, okay, Pete won plenty of games, but at that point, it seem like his time had run out. And if his time had run out in the league around us, because at that time you had Alabama A&M, Alabama State were doing their thing. Even UAPB at that time had found themselves in the championship in 2006. Jackson State with Rick Comedy. You saw the landscape of the SWAC changing, even with Grambling. So Southern fans kind of fell off for a second and was like, well, what's next? During that process, when we got Dawson Odoms, what got Dawson Odoms the job here in 2012, right? At Southern, who you got to beat? You got to beat FAMU. You got to beat Jackson State. You got to beat Grambling. And if you win homecoming, I think you can get a job here. And that's what happened with Dawson Odoms in 2012, where they took the interim tag off after they got rid of Stump Mitchell after we lost to Mississippi Valley 6-0 on a Thursday night. Then Odoms comes in, wins the championship in year one, right, in 2013. 2014, we go back. But I think one of the biggest things with Odoms that a lot of people did not truly understand was the state of the program as he took it over as Southern dealt with APR problems. Remember, no spring football, limited scholarship and practice time, and he had to build a comprehensive walk-on program, preferred walk-on program, to get athletes here. Out of that program, you had the all-time leading passer at Southern University, Austin Howard. You got the all-time leading wide receiver in receptions and receiving yards in Willie Quinn. You got the all-time leading rusher and the SWAC's all-time leading rusher in Lenard Tillery, along with Danny Johnson, who went to the NFL. So think about what this coach did, and then had us playing for 4 championships before COVID, with dealing with all of that. And I think, unfortunately, with a fan base who wants to win and wants to win now, a lot of people didn't quite understand what that meant to have your hands tied behind your back and still find a way to have Southern competing for a championship each and every season. So I don't think fans, in my opinion, truly respected or appreciated what Dawson Odoms did to take us through that period of bad time. Because listen, we all know when you have to deal with limited scholarships, you can't take on those transfer players on top of no spring football. So after the Bayou Classic, we're done until fall camp. That's a lot on the program in order to keep a program consistently in the hunt for a championship each and every year when everybody else around you is able to do it. And guess what? You know what the other schools are saying? They're going to talk about you what Southern can't do, right? And I think for that was one of the issues I had, I think, with back and forth with a lot of fans with Southern's fan base was I get what we wanted to do, but I get what we had to deal with, if that makes sense to you. And Dawson Odoms, I think, for him, wanted that loyalty from the school itself, saying, hey, look what I had to go through, and I got us through it. Now, can you extend and give me what I believe I've earned since I've been here? And I don't think Southern was willing to do that with him, which is why when you saw Norfolk State, that deal with 6 years and offering him what they wanted, what he wanted, I think that was one of the reasons why he stepped aside and decided to go to Norfolk and say, hey, I think I've done enough here at Southern.
Yeah, well, let me roll back for a minute because we've talked about this, the professional coach to come in and take over a program, Stump Mitchell. And Rocky, I don't know if you knew, did you know that Stump Mitchell was a professional athlete, coach, and played in the league. He stunk. I know when I came in the league, I think we beat him like 54-6. He took that program and really, really took it to the bottom. How did you feel about that? Were you excited? Stump Mitchell, NFL coach, NFL former player, and you guys thought you had the charm of the day, and it didn't even work out from day one.
You asking me?
Yeah, you're the Southern expert tonight.
When I got here, I came from UAPB, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and when I got here in 2010, Stump had just gotten hired. So I wasn't here prior in 2009 in that last season of peak, but I saw it from afar from within the SWAC from another institution. When I got here, it was kind of like that in between where, we just got rid of a legend, right? And Pete Richardson, but Pete was on the back end. He wasn't winning games like people wanted. I don't know from my perspective how much the hype was behind Stump, because Stump, if you've ever been around him, he's a very kind of, I won't use the word shy, but he's very quiet. He's to himself. He's not a hoorah guy. He's not this get in front of the media and try to make you sell it. He's just kind of quiet. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to go to work. I think once you got past, he had us all fooled in 2010. We went to the MEAC SWAC Challenge in Orlando. We beat Delaware State. Right. It was like, okay, we headed in the right direction. Then we come back the next week and we lose at home against the University of Arkansas Monticello, UAM, a Division II program. And I was trying to tell people here about UAM because UAPB had signed a 3-year deal prior to that to play UAM, who's Division II. At that time was the Gulf South Conference. They had beaten UAPB handily the past 2 years, and UAPB said, hey, we don't want nothing to do with you. We want to get out of the third year. I believe Southern picked up that third year and say, man, look, UAM D2, we can beat them. Not so bad. Got their ass whooped. Now, at that point, that's when everybody started to look and was like, okay, what's really going on? How we losing to a Division II school with a mascot called the Boll Weevils, right? Then you come into the next season. And I think what they used, the straw that broke the camel's back, was a Thursday night ESPN game here at A.W. Mumford Stadium, taking on Mississippi Valley, a team Southern had not lost to in years, let's say decades, right? And we lose 6-0 on national television. I think if Stump walked off that field, he must have tried to go in his office and realized the door was locked, and there was nothing he could do from that point. So Stump never could really get the program headed in the right direction, but I think what Stump did do was put together a collection of a talent that Dawson Odoms then ultimately the next year realized what he could do to win with it. I just think Stump with what he was trying to do with a pro-style offense, under center just did not fit what Southern was looking for at that time to be successful.
Yeah, see, a lot of times when we look at these pro guys, and these guys coming from the outside of being pro, they used to working with guys that all of them make $200,000 and $300,000 and $400,000. These guys are real coaches. Then now you take a job, and now you paying 40 and 30 and 75,000 for your coordinator. You know what I'm saying? And then now I've been up on this level so long, I don't even know folks. So then now I reach back and start getting my high school friends and my buddy I was, with at another NFL team, and they don't understand the whole dynamics of coaching college football. And that's 9 times out of 10 when I look back on it, and Campbell, of course, you look back on it too, because we've had more than just Dion. Dion just happened to be who Dion is. You know what I mean? But there's always been former professional football coaches and players that have coached in the conference. Unfortunately, most of them has never been successful. So, when I talk from experience about, I don't get excited about that. You know what I mean? So that was the example. So I just wanted to make sure I point that out.
Perry, I came into watching HBCU football regularly due to Dion's coming into HBCU. So I didn't get a chance to really view the brand of football and see the culture, whatever. Though my sister graduated from Southern a while ago, and she and her family are Southern Knights, and they are supporters, donors, in the box suites. I mean, they've always been big time with Southern. And the one guy that I knew that had a problem in Southern was Stump Mitchell. And that's something because he created a very frustrating existence for a lot of Southern fans while he was there. So I did know I knew that name because not only the NFL, but because I know my sister and her friends were very unhappy during that time. And that kind of explain that unhappiness.
Yeah, I mean, you want to win, right? And if you're going to make a change from a coach that you felt like wasn't winning, then you bring in another coach that you want to win, and he's going down that same path, what that creates, especially for a fan base who's passionate about winning, passionate about their football, and passionate more so than ever about wanting to win championships. When you don't have that, right, when you don't have those ingredients for that recipe in order for it to come out to be successful, to taste good with flavor, what day you say, I didn't get, when you go to a restaurant, you say, I want the bang for my buck, right? And if you don't get the bang for your buck, don't you feel robbed a little bit? Don't you say, man, I'm probably not going to come back to this place, man. This wasn't what I thought it would be. This is not what I wanted. This is not really what I signed up for. That's Southern fans. And that same thing with Stump was the same thing I would use for Eric Dooley. Both with that same concept of, all right, we'll give you an opportunity to see what you can do. But at the end of the day, we're going to evaluate you on how you treat the fan base, and not only how you treat the fan base, but what your performance is out on the field. Will you be stubborn in what you do? And I think that was one of the things that really hurt Eric Dooley when he was here. The stubbornness from the quarterback position that fans just did not like at all. It was saying, what are we going to do? Are you putting us in the best situation to win, or are you doing what you want to do in terms of your association to a person or to a certain group? And that rubs a fan base the wrong way.
Yeah, did I now what exactly? I know it was an issue with Dooley and the fan base on who the trigger man was. And it was like he was more loyal to a guy, I guess, that he brought in, and the fans were just wanting to put another guy in that they felt that could make them win. Was that some of the, if you want to put a finger on it, was that the issue?
It was part of the issue. I mean, Bashawn McCray was a kid that transferred in. Bashawn McCray was a previous wide receiver, had went to junior college, and then, Dooley brought him to Southern and basically put him at the quarterback position where with Bashawn McCray's ability, it gave him that dual threat ability, right? But you also had a room of guys in Bubba McDaniel, who was returning player from with Dawson Odoms, and then he played under Jason Rollins for a little while when Jason was the interim. But as we saw Bashawn McCray go through the season, you saw the struggles. And it was like, all right, if you see the struggles, why aren't we giving the other quarterbacks an opportunity? And it just came game after game after game where it just seemed like nobody was getting the opportunities. It was like, well, what are we doing here? All right, now we get to the SWAC championship game. Bashawn McCray stinks up the place against Deion and Jackson State. They put Glendon Bubba McDaniels in the game. He throws almost, I think, about 300 yards in the game. But we have fallen so far down. I think it was 27-0 in the first quarter, and Jackson kind of at that point had the game in hand. He did everything he could to bring us back, but we were so far in the hole, it was nothing we could do. But at that point, everybody opened their eyes and said, why had we not given this kid his fair chance the entire season when we stuck with McCray? Then he gets in the press conference. Media says, hey, coach, is it anything that you would do differently in terms of the quarterback position? He looks directly into the camera, and everybody in the Jaguar Nation thought he was talking to him. He said, absolutely not. Now, for everybody at home and everybody in the stadium, after you watch the performance like Glendon McDaniel did in that game, there's no way you can tell me you would not have went back and said, you know what, maybe I would have tried to do things differently, because you didn't give this young man the credit that he deserved for coming into the game and doing what he did in his last game as a Jaguar. And it was just a slap in the face. Then you come into the next year. You guys remember that game, Mr. Campbell? I know you remember, against FAMU here in Baton Rouge. He said FAMU's defense dropped 8.
That got a
we
fire
all
right
looking
here.
at the film. Now, I'm at the game. I'm looking at I know damn well what drop 8 looks like. Now we look at the film. We watched the film, and it gotten so bad, Coach Cole, even the local media had felt just kind of pushed around and just not, treated right. So even local media coming up on that Sunday and Monday was like, because, he had his press conference that Tuesday, even local media was saying they literally stopped the play and counted how many guys it was that dropped. We get to the press conference on Tuesday, he's still going with the same tune. They dropped 8.
Let me ask. You said drop what? What's the acronym?
So it was our final drive in the game. It was under 2 minutes. It was about a minute so left in the game. The question was, why did he make the play call that he did? He said that FAMU's defense had dropped 8, so he made a call. But everybody was questioning the call, because it was like, if you said they dropped 8, we didn't see that. Media didn't see it. The fans didn't see it. Nobody saw it, but he stuck to that story. Even after local media ran that story for the next 2 days and counted it in it, he gets in the press conference and says the same thing. And so what happened with the fan base was it started to seem like there's no accountability. He's stubborn, and he's going to do what he wants. And it almost was like playing the mind game with the fans. If you didn't play or you didn't coach, you don't know. And you can't treat a fan base at Southern like that. You can't treat no fan base like that who's passionate. It don't matter if I know football, if I played it or I coached it, I paid to get in here. I want to see a win. And at the end of the day, you can't treat a fan base as though you can't basically call them you're football illiterate. You can't do that to a fan base. You just got to own up to it. Hey, I made a mistake. It wasn't what it was, but to still, and I even asked Willie Simmons myself in an interview, Coach, did you drop 8? And, as guys do in the coaching profession, he didn't want to out him. He just fell out laughing. He's like, I'll go to the next question. That's all I needed to get the answer from me. Heck, because if he didn't, he would have said no. But when he laughed like what we're doing right now, that's all I need. I said, thank you, Coach. That's all I needed to know.
Wow.
And let me tell you how bad I knew it was. Now, in the fan base, there are some, I was coming out the stadium. We had just lost to, was it Texas Southern? No, we had just lost to Prairie View. I'm coming out the stadium, man. It's some classy, man, I'm talking about some Jaguar fans from what you say back in the day. Classy ladies. I'm talking about very classy.
Did you, one sec, did you ever meet Mama Jaguar?
That was before my time. I didn't get a chance to meet. But if this was this type of ladies, though, like very classy, upscale, very, I came out the stadium and I saw these two ladies. I never in a million years would have thought these ladies even use cuss words, let alone anybody cuss around them. These ladies was cussing like sailors back and forth to each other, and every other word was dually and cuss, and dually and cuss. I said, man, it's over. When you get the church ladies, the elegant, very nice, classy ladies to get out of character like that, we don't have much left here.
Yeah. Now, wait, Perry, let me ask you a question, because I want to set this, because now, is this the same viral video where the lady was on the sideline using all types of curse words? That wasn't that game, was it?
I don't know. You see, I hadn't even seen that video. This
okay,
was
now that was
the stadium, and I heard these ladies.
This was inside the stadium, and you knew. Listen, you knew she was big time. She had the strap on. She was down there on the field, and man, listen. Let me tell you something. Cursing, like I said, that thing. I'm about to find that video just for you, Perry, because that right there. That's when I said this man. I said, when you got this lady cursing like this, you say that Jaguar finest. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, whoa, and my Jaguar folks know what I'm talking. What game was that? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But go ahead, Coach. You rolling, but you a Perry rolling.
Yeah. Man, Coach, Perry, I'm gonna show you this. You see this right here?
Too hot to handle, ain't it?
Oh yeah. Oh, do I need to switch it around? Yeah, I think I need to switch that around so you can see that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the only ring, guys, that 2 HBCU teams played on January 1st in America in the history of HBCU. I got it. And we won it at 9-3. So I want to make sure. All right, cool. We coming on up now. We don't got Dooley and Odom.
Hey.
We coming to Terrence Graves. And I want you to know am I too early, guys?
No. You're good. I just wanted to take a break and let people know that we have some poll questions on the Rocky Miller channel, and I want to make sure that everybody gets involved to get a chance to answer those poll questions. Those are very important poll questions as well. Also, I want to give you some time because it's about that time. We're gonna switch over here shortly, so go ahead and go over to the Rocky Miller channel if you want to view the rest of this stream.
Let me ask a question right quick to Coach Cole.
Go ahead.
You were the head coach at Texas Southern, right?
Yeah.
I remember, I'm going to tell you something, how you say, you guys, you had that year with all those transfer players. I remember you being on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Do you have that Sports Illustrated cover page?
I don't, but I was on ESPNU as well.
So I used to get the Sports Illustrated magazines all the time, and I'll never forget they had you and all the players around you, and they were talking about what was going on at Texas Southern in terms of how you had these transfer players. Now, if I can recall, you had a pretty damn good defense at Texas Southern, right?
Number one in the country.
I can remember because I remember watching you guys play Grambling in Houston one year, and it was a really good game. Was it? I think Greg Dillon was the quarterback at Grambling at the time. Yeah. Yep. You could right. I was
ESPN has sent a writer down to spend the whole week with me, from my home to how we prepared for the game, kind of the whole week. And I was over the ESPN magazine, and I'm the only head coach that ever been there. This ring with the Heritage Bowl. Some people don't even know what the Heritage Bowl is, Campbell. And that's when you use the Black College National Champion. And this is the National Championship ring.
Did you beat Bethune-Cookman that year?
No, we beat South Carolina State. We beat them 11-6 because our defense. We had the number one defense in the nation then. There we had the in living color coaching staff. We had Coach Yoshida that was Japanese. We had Mark Orlando, who was white. Of course, me, Chris Scott, Simmons. We were black guys. I don't know if you know. My
name is James Jr., and I won $500 on the lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network. changing the way you watch TV.